Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Well, happy Saturday morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and thanks for joining us here on Chautauqua Sunrise. Well, the weather's been interesting, hasn't it? One day it's 80 and muggy, the next day it's like fall weather, the next day it's summer, the next day I don't know what it's going to be. So I hope you're enjoying the weather nonetheless, and we were just remarking how green everything is right now. I think it was last year we were kind of toasty at this time of the year, but hey, it's all good, and if you are visiting the area for the first time, there's so much going on, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. And also, what's going on is lots of agricultural things. We got blueberries and cherries and all kinds of good stuff at the farmers markets and things like that. So Chautauqua County right now is alive and well and bursting with all kinds of interesting things. I hope you're having a good Saturday morning and a good weekend. It looks like tomorrow should be pretty decent as well. I want to remind all of you that are watching right now, and it's live, you can give us a call at 753-5225. Don't be shy, because we've got some interesting guests here in a little bit, and you may have a question or comment, okay? If your club or organization has a fundraiser, you have an event coming up that you just want us to know about, give us a call, let us know. Or you can email us, and people do that. And as you know, every week I got tons of announcements to make, and we want the whole county to know what's going on and share that information with you, so don't be shy. For those of you that are listening on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us here on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. We're so glad you could join us. Now, always remember, we're also on channel 1301 on Spectrum, if you ever want to watch us live, or later on in the week, because we're on at 2 and 8 throughout the week. And if you don't want to do that and you want to be on an airplane, you can catch me on YouTube. You can watch us there as well. So we are social media all over the place. So anyways, welcome. Okay, we got a lot to talk about today, so I'm not going to spend much more time gabbing. I want to get to some announcements because I have a young man here that's waiting in the wing. We'll get to you in a minute. Really exciting news to share with you. So let's get to some announcements here real quick. Okay, the floating stage is back on Chautauqua Lake. The floating stage has returned to Chautauqua Lake, greeted by a huge turnout to its first concerts of the season this past week. After a year-long hiatus from the Bemis Bay Pops, wrapped up its lengthy run in Bemis Point, the concert series has been reborn as Chautauqua Lake Pops by the shore, now located at the northern end of Chautauqua Lake behind the historic Railroad Depot building in Mayville. And you know, that's where this station started, right at that railroad station back in 1995. Reed Powers and a number of those guys, and I was down there on and off. So that's really cool. The floating stage is just really down the road from here. The floating stage is back with a full lineup of exciting programming for this summer. Chautauqua Lake Pops by the Shore will feature everything from movie nights to live tribute band performances to an orchestra. The tribute band series will run Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays through the end of August. A series of movie screenings will be held on Tuesday evenings at dusks. For ticket information, go to chautauqualakepops.com. In addition, they're also going to have the Mayville Chautauqua Community Chamber of Commerce Summer Entertainment Series on Thursday nights, and that's free of charge, okay? And they're going to have all kinds of music there. Here's a little historical note that you don't know. When the floating stage was down at Bemis Point, me and my partner at the time, we were playing there, and we were playing for Soup Kitchen for Jamestown, and we're playing along, and I turn around, and behind me, some fishermen pull up. They were two Amish guys sitting here listening to the music, and the stage does have a little bit of float tilt to it, so it was kind of interesting. But it's a great opportunity to listen to some really good music. And speaking of music, for those of you that are listening right now in the Jamestown area, Will and I will be playing from 12 to 2 I guess it'll be this morning, this afternoon, at the Farmers Market on Cherry Street, so come by and check it out. And also we'll be playing at the Grape Discovery Center this Wednesday, July 17th from 5 to 8. That's right down the road in Westfield. All right, so let's keep on going. Let's go to slide 15, Jeff. Smoke Alarm Installation Program. The Children's Safety Education Village in Asheville is now participating in a free smoke alarm installation program. The program is part of an effort to reach out to local residents who are in need of smoke alarms. The installation of smoke alarms in the homes of residents who do not have them increases their odds of surviving a home fire. A Safety Village representative is available to replace or install smoke alarms to those in need. Residents who wish to receive free smoke alarms should call the Safety Village at 338-0170, 338-0170 for an appointment and to receive additional information. Funding for the installation program was provided by FEMA. Folks, if you don't have a smoke alarm, shame on you. This could save your life or any family members or your pets or whatever. Make sure you get one of these, and it's free. All right, we're going to skip 16, Jeff. We're going to go right to 17. 23rd Annual Laurel Memorial Run and Walk set for July 19 and 20. Okay, big event. Area residents are invited to join the hundreds of people who will come together to celebrate people with disabilities at the 23rd Annual Laurel Memorial Run and Walk. The event was created by Wayne and Elaine Hotelling of Silver Creek in honor of their oldest daughter, Laurel, who had special needs. Though she faced many challenges, Laurel lived a full and productive life thanks to the support she received from her family, her community, and the Resource Center. The Laurel Memorial Run and Walk is a 2-day celebration of the potential that exists within people who have disabilities. The event seeks to raise public awareness about people with disabilities while providing an opportunity for people with disabling conditions and those without to come together at a fun, family-friendly event. The action begins Friday, July 19th with the traditional flag relay. A kickoff ceremony will be held at 8 a.m. In the Resource Center's facility at 75 Jones and Gifford Avenue in Jamestown. Then teams of volunteer runners will take turns transporting Laurel flags to Dunkirk. That's quite a run. Representatives from a number of area schools, as well as the Lakeview Shock Incarceration Correctional Facility in Brockton, will run the various legs of the relay. The relay concludes at Washington Park, where the city of Dunkirk will host a victory celebration from noon to 2. The community is invited to come out and cheer on the last relay runners as they make their way along Central Avenue to the finish. For the 7th straight year, several people will attempt to run the entire 30-mile relay route. That event is called the Laurel-thon. Anyone wishing to run a portion of the flag relay or take on the Laurel-thon is invited to do so. Okay, for more information on any of this event, give them a call at 661-4735. Okay, now, here's a really cool announcement. lot of times we have young folks at home that are sort of getting too old to have a babysitter of their own, and they might want to get a little extra money for various things, buy that cell phone or whatever. So babysitting course, Thursday, July 18th from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and Friday, August 23rd, 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. The babysitter training course is intended for youth ages 11 and up. Students will learn CPR and AED use, first aid techniques, basic child care, home safety, and a whole lot more. Cost is $75. Scholarships are available for those in need. And if you want to know who's doing this, the Children's Safety Education Village. Give them a call, 338-0170, 338-0170. Now think about that, folks. If you had some young kids at home and you wanted to hire a babysitter and they had this training, that's a whole lot better than the kid down the street that you really don't know very well, right? So I would definitely recommend, if you've got somebody 11 years on up, check it out. All right, an evening in Barker Common up there in Fredonia. Join the Fredonia Community Chamber of Commerce for an evening in Barker Common. The fourth Wednesday of each month, the Fredonia Community Chamber will host a local member restaurant and winery to provide food and samplings for sale. In conjunction with the Village of Fredonia, live music is in the park as well. There's face painting for the kids, and it's a fun evening for the entire family. Chamber member businesses can participate for free. And once again, as I said in the beginning, there's something going on everywhere in Chautauqua County throughout the week, throughout the weekends, and so on. All right, let's see what else I got here. Let's go to slide 18. Summer safety classes. Classes are scheduled for July 10th. Wait a minute, that's already done. Let's skip that one. July 25th from 12 to 3 p.m. August 8th from 9 to 12 p.m. August 21st, 12 to 3 p.m. Each class will contain a 1-hour fire safety lesson and then either a traffic safety lesson with cars or a bike safety lesson, depending upon age. A snack, craft, games are included. Those who are interested can register online at thechildrensafetyvillage.com, or you can call, again, 338-0170. And it's only $10, and it's for kids ages 5 to 10. Could be a lot of fun and something to do for your kiddos this summer. All right, I'm going to take a breather. I'm going to stop right there because I do want to get to everything else I got scheduled for today. Okay, so throughout the week, I get little emails from time to time or a text message that says, we got such and such happening, and is that something you'd be interested in covering on the show? And today, I got a special treat. I've got a young man who is number 3 in the nation in a particular category he's going to talk about right now. And if you've been watching the Post-Journal in the sports section, this gentleman has been tearing up the front page. I've seen him probably a half dozen or more times. I want to welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise, let me just turn my chair a little bit, is John Swabick Jr., right? Did I get that right? No. No junior?
No.
You're not a junior?
Nope, my middle name is different.
Oh, I know. You're a junior in high school. There we come to junior. Okay. John, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good. I'm wired. John, where are you from?
I'm from Sherman.
Sherman, New York. Okay.
Yes.
Which is just really down the road from here. And have you lived here all your life?
I have, yes.
Okay, and so you're a junior in high school, and your mother contacted the station here, and you are number 3 in what?
I compete in the decathlon. It's like 10 different track events, but they all just kind of combine together to form one big event.
Okay, so it's sort of like the old Roman days where you did a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So can you tell me all 10 of them?
Oh boy.
Because I don't know. I know there's running involved. That's about all I know.
I've only ever done it once.
Let's do the best you can.
Okay.
Which ones do you remember?
So, start off the first day with the 100-meter dash.
Okay.
And then you go to long jump.
Long jump.
And then shot put.
Oh boy.
And then high jump. And then the 400.
Now, have you done all these?
Yeah.
You can do the high jump?
Uh-huh.
You do that. What's it called? Something. Forget it. There was a crazy thing we used in high school that you flop over on your back. Is that how you do that?
Yeah, that's
What's it
high
called?
jump. High jump.
Okay, but is there a term for when you roll on your back instead of going over this way? You go on your back.
Oh, some people call it the flop.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of everyone does that.
Fosbury. That's it. The Fosbury. All right, and for me it was crash. I could never do that. I just never could get off the ground. Okay, so the 100 meters. So are you pretty fast at that? What's your time on that?
I ran like upper 11s.
11s.
I think it was like 11.7.
Okay. Randy Burt in the other room, I think he does it in 40. And the long jump. So what are you about, in the 20s?
Yeah, I've been 20 feet, 3 inches or so.
Okay. Now, is that where you have to like run, hit it, and then from there?
Yeah, you just run and jump as far as you can.
Oh,
into the
yeah,
same
yeah.
pit.
Okay. Shot put. How far can you throw that thing?
38 feet.
No, how heavy is that ball?
It's 12 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And then what was the next 400?
No, it should be high jump.
All right, high jump. Okay. How high do you jump on that?
6'4".
You can jump over my head?
Yeah.
Get out of town. You're serious.
I'm serious.
Now, do you have to do like a running start on that, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
No trampoline or anything like that? No,
Nope.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
All right, so that's day one. So,
Yeah.
holy mackerel. So I'm hoping they space this out over a period of time.
Yep, 2
All right,
days.
so then on day two, what do you got to do?
You got the 110 hurdles to start with.
This is where you're jumping over those horses thingies or look like bars or whatever. I call them sawhorses. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And then there's discus,
Okay,
and then pole vault.
you do the pole vault.
Yeah. And then javelin,
Okay,
and then the 1500, which is pretty much a mile.
what's your best? Which of these events, what's your best? Or you feel, let's just say, most confident in?
Probably the 1500.
So you're a long distance runner then.
I used to be when I was younger.
I was a cross country runner. No, I was.
That
Well,
sucks.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a quick story on that. When I ran for my school, I used to tell the guy in front of me, because he usually took off. I said, tell the bus driver I'm still coming. Totally without me, because I was always at the end of the line. I was a terrible runner. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay. So how do you train for all this?
Well, I just kind of get a coach for each special event.
Where at school, or where do you get these coaches?
Well, not at school. I mean, yeah, kind of, but through the Chautauqua Striders program.
Oh, okay. All
They
right.
kind of connect me up with all these different coaches to help me with each one of my events.
So do you know Mike Sayers with the javelin by any chance?
I don't.
Mike is he's my age now, but he goes in the Senior Olympics and he holds, I don't know, all kinds of medals for the javelin. How far do you throw the javelin?
Well, see, I've thrown it once, and I threw it 108 feet, but during practice, I kind of improved on that, and I think I got up to like 120.
Wow. Okay, that's quite an art form. And there's so many rules to every one of those events. You can't go over the line. You got to do this. Got to do that. Does that kind of make you crazy?
Once you do it enough, it's
Okay.
kind of like second nature.
Now you have a special T-shirt on. It says USA TF. What's that stand for?
USA, or United States of America, track and field.
Okay. And this is at the Junior Olympic level, right?
Yes.
So why did you want to be on the show? Because your mother wanted you on the show. So why did your mother want you on the show? What's going on next for you?
I have a meet in a week in Sacramento, California.
A week from today?
A week from, I don't know, we leave the 20th.
Are you flying?
Yeah.
You ever flown before?
No.
Dramamine. Dramamine. Well, that's wonderful. Well, congratulations. So now what's this number 3? What is that? How does that work? I mean, you're the number 3 qualifier in the United States in the decathlon?
Mm-hmm.
Are you shocked by that?
Well,
I am.
not really, because during high school, I was, I believe, number 1. Wait, no. I think I was number 3 in the nation for pentathlon as well.
Okay.
So that's just 5 events instead of 10.
Right. So you're moving up.
Yeah.
So what are your long-range goals as an athlete?
I'd like to go to a Division I college and compete, and then also go to the Olympic trials and try out for the team.
Awesome. And what would you try out for at the Olympics at this point?
Decathlon.
The whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
You're just going for the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you do any of those Ironman contests yet?
No, but I've seen them. I kind of want to.
Mark Mark Wilson, check it. I have contact information. I'm sure he'd like to talk with you. He does a lot of triathlons and stuff like that here in the county, but he does the Ironman competitions and a few other guys. Well, John, we wish you the very best of luck, and you got to let us know. Have your mom or somebody email me, and we either come back on the show and tell us about your experience, or send us a report. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for coming down, and we really enjoy having you here today. Okay? All right. You take care. All right, folks. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to be right back with my guests who have been waiting very patiently in the green room. So let's go to this, Jeff, and we'll be right back.
You're going to need me.
That was okay, huh?
You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Okay, we're back. Wasn't that something, folks, watching John Swabick there, a gentleman that's 16 years old, so confident, relaxed, taking on the world. California, never flown before, doing an event, and one that he's only practiced the javelin, and he was like, throwing it really far. So I hope to have really good reports in a couple of weeks on that. I can't wait. Okay, well, we have two guests that have come a distance to be here today, and they are from the Veterans One Stop Center of Western New York. And as you all know that have watched this show regularly, I have a big spot in my heart for veterans, and we can't talk enough about veterans. So I want to welcome right now Alyssa Vasquez, who's program manager for the PFC Joseph Dwyer program. Can I get that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. My father said, I'm not your sir. And Chuck Marra, who is the president and CEO of the One Stop.
Yes.
All right. So for those of you that want to know how this all came about, we can't explain it. We had Rachel Snyder on here a while back and with the Red Cross, and Chuck, you were involved with the Red Cross at the time, and she started talking about veterans. She went back and said, I didn't know that much about veteran services and so forth, and so that's how we kind of got hooked up, and you've kind of changed things around a bit, and now you're with this organization.
That's right. That's right. First of all, Doc, thanks so much for having us on the show today.
Absolutely.
We're happy to be here and talk about the work we do.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's start with Alyssa. You told me you were in the Army.
Yes, sir.
Oh, here we go again.
No more of that.
No more. Yes, ma'am. No. I understand. How long were you in the service?
13 and a half years I was active duty.
So I understand the sir then. All right.
Yes.
It's a hard thing to get rid of, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And what was your MOS? I got this time.
I was a geospatial engineer.
What does that do?
Essentially, I would analyze the terrain as well as do an imagery analysis and then add in any intel for the area and provide either a ground force commander or, say if it was an aviation unit, the best information for the area that they were operating in so that they could make the best tactical decisions.
So where the heck did you learn to do that?
Fort Belvoir, Virginia.
I mean, when you were growing up, was that something you were thinking about doing? I mean, did you have a geography or science background?
Not at all.
Not at all. So you kind of went and stretched yourself a bit. All right. So you retired from the service at 13 some years. What was your rank at that point? E something, or were you?
Yes, I was enlisted. I was a staff sergeant.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And Chuck, how did you get involved with this organization?
So interestingly, and it goes back with the connection we have with Rachel Snyder from the Red Cross. She was actually one of my staff members. Great work she does. But had left the Red Cross, and of course one of the core services of the Red Cross, founding services, was Service to Armed Forces. So I had the experience in that area, and my son was in the military, in the Army, deployed in 2003, during Operation Enduring Freedom, and so I have that perspective of the experience. And interestingly, the connection was, one of my board members from the Red Cross sits on my current board, and my previous CEO moved on, and they were looking for someone to come in. Thought it was a great opportunity, loved the organization. It's a great group of people. And it's interesting, you hear, our veterans, they're very respectful. When they say sir to you, it is a sign of respect. And I love working with them. They motivate me, in terms of the work that I do.
Very good. Okay, and you're from Niagara Falls?
Correct. Born and raised.
And you came all the way from Niagara Falls this morning to be here?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
thank you, thank you. And I'm sure all the veterans are listening right now are thanking you. And Alyssa, you said you're from just north of Buffalo, Tonawanda?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not from the area originally. You said you're from
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. And you were born and raised out there?
Yes.
Is it really dry?
It is.
So this must be very different for you, especially after being in Iraq and Arizona. They're like the same, I guess. Right?
Yeah, all the humidity, and I actually get all 4 seasons for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
So,
What'd you think of snow?
I was a fan at first, and then it was a little
Yeah, I know.
overwhelming. But
I was like
nice.
until I was 4 years old. And then this isn't funny. My I gotta move it. You know, my dad would get, here's the shovel, son. All right. So we're talking about veteran services and a one-stop. And I got to tell you, I've never heard of this before. Okay. Do you work with Chautauqua County?
We do. Some of the service folks that come up to see us are from Chautauqua County. Actually, we will service folks from any of the 8 counties in Western New York.
That's the answer I wanted.
There you go.
Okay. And my experience has been with veteran services, they don't care who you are, where you live. You need help, call us. In fact, this is a true story. Yesterday, I texted somebody information for veteran services here in Chautauqua County, name and phone number, because somebody in Pennsylvania wanted that information. And whether they can make a linkage or whatever it is, that's what this is all about, for me anyways. Okay. So how long has the Veterans One Stop Center been around?
Relatively new, about 6 years. And Doc, when you look at the mission of the organization, it's really empowering veterans to make that transition from military to civilian life. And if you take a look or understand the need for the servicing, there were 2 studies done, one by the Pew Center Research. They did a survey showing that as many as 27% of veterans have difficulty in making that transition. And when you look at a population of veterans in Western New York, about 120,000, you're looking at perhaps about 32,000 veterans that may have some issue. That issue could be severe, where you have folks coming out with PTSD, addiction issues, employment issues, a whole myriad of things that really need immediate help, to just folks that just had that connection issue, needing that peer-to-peer support. And then there was another study done by the RAND Corporation that showed as many as 40% of veterans don't understand the benefits that are available to them. So you look again at that 120,000 population, it could be as many as 38,000 veterans that really don't understand the benefits. And I will say the country and the state do a great job in terms of the benefits that are available to them, but it is quite a time many times trying to navigate that.
Okay, here's a tough question. Okay, the folks I've been dealing with down here, the Veteran Services through Chautauqua County, they're not the VA. All right, are you the VA?
No, we're not.
Okay,
we are not.
that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
So you can stand aside and advocate?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And that's the wonderful part about our organization. We're very much a collaborative organization. We do work with the VA. We will work with the state organizations, the VSOs in the area, but we'll also work with the community organizations too, to try to find the best way of providing a solution for the veteran.
Okay, Alyssa, so what's the issue with transition? I hear this all the time. I've seen it for myself. I see it with people that have been in wars a long time ago. Vietnam, World War II, I've seen veterans that still are struggling. What in your mind, since you've come out, what's the issue?
I would say there's a couple of different components of it. The primary one is that you're completely transplanting yourself into a completely different lifestyle. So everything about your daily operations is changing, and it's a little bit different, going from active duty or say reserve, because reserve you're kind of already embedded in that community.
Right.
But either way, you're still changing your life completely, and then in addition to that. You feel like because you've been successful as a soldier or a service member, you feel like you should have the answers on your own. So then whenever you get out and you do start having a difficult time, sometimes it's hard to actually verbalize that and admit that you are struggling. And then in addition to that, sometimes they just either don't know where to turn, or they aren't able to, veterans, aren't able to acknowledge the fact that we are having a difficult time. We can be experiencing the things, but until we're talking and we're having a conversation with another veteran or somebody that's familiar with the community, and we're, saying, I'm experiencing this, this, and this. Okay, well, maybe we might want to look further into those issues.
Okay.
That, can I just add to that too? One of the areas that create some of that difficulty too are support systems. Typically veterans, if they come out with a strong family support system, that transition is much easier, and you can probably attest to to some of that, but the ones who don't are the ones that really run into some difficulty.
Okay. I would think, just knowing things secondhand from my own family members, when you're in the military, and Alyssa, you stop me anytime, your life is pretty structured.
Very much so.
Okay. And when you come out, your life may not be so structured, and all of a sudden it's like, well, what do I do tomorrow? How do I do this? You're not kind of like being told what to do. I'm not saying it. I'm saying it in a nice way. But also, I've also found, even in my own life, when you're like a supervisor, administrator, whatever your title is, you're used to giving out commands and orders and expectations that people are going to do what you tell them to do. And when you come in the real world out here, the different world, that's not how it works, And so all of a sudden you're sort of like a leader without followers. So that must be a real head trip for people.
It is, especially if you've been in a leadership capacity in the military. I know, speaking personally, I had a hard time with my transition because I was used to a way where, as a drill sergeant and a survival instructor, I'm used to speaking to soldiers in a way and commanding a certain level of automatic, that respect is built in. And so whenever I'm encountering someone in the civilian world, they're not intentionally being disrespectful, but just the way that I'm perceiving their interactions, I'm getting an emotional charge from that interaction because I'm feeling, like they're disrespecting me, even though it's not that way at all. And then also, I think, and you're able to find meaning in everything that you do, but I think sometimes it's difficult when you transition from the military, like I said, trying to speak personally. I went from feeling like what I was doing was very worthwhile, and I woke up every day and I was excited, and then I went to, I went into a job at Geico where I was, and it's nothing against Geico or anything, but just a job like that where at first I had a very hard time finding meaning in what I was doing. And I've since been able to change my perspective, and like I said, you can find meaning in absolutely any job. Even if you're stocking a supermarket, everybody is a valuable piece of this puzzle, but sometimes it's hard to really see that whenever you transition.
I want to go back to something you said, and I found that really interesting, and I can relate to it a little bit. When you said somebody was doing something and you perceived it as maybe being disrespectful, is it because the way you were trained that you wouldn't say that to somebody, you wouldn't do that in this situation, and you want to correct them, or that you want to challenge them back and say, well, what the heck are you thinking you're doing?
Yeah, it's pretty much along those lines, and it would be something as simple as, basically in the military, it's easy to tell somebody, like, fix your face, you're talking to me all wrong here, kind of a thing. But
fix your face. Oh my God.
But
I understand what you mean. Like, straighten up here, yeah.
And it's nothing intentional that somebody was ever really doing to me. It was all that matter of perception, where a little bit of an eye roll, or they're not really aware of the little signals that they're giving off, and I'm taking it completely the wrong way.
Right.
And so it's these two different conversations that are taking place.
That's very interesting, and I don't think we've talked about that here. Is perception that you have going outside of the military, because people obviously aren't used to fixing your face, not rolling your eyes, looking you in the eye when you're talking, and being respectful, because we're so much more lax in what we do. And humor, I suspect, would get me in big trouble if I was in the military. I used to tell my dad, I don't think I should do this. I think I could be in trouble. But okay, so Chuck, what kind of services do you offer veterans? I mean, I know that you sent me some stuff, and we have some slides that we can pop up as we go along too. So let's talk a little bit about services.
So probably our core service is case management. We'll do intake servicing for the veterans that come in the door. And I also want to tell you that we define a veteran as anyone who's put on the uniform.
Okay.
Doesn't matter of their discharge status. And Doc, if you look at that, sometimes the veterans with the greatest needs are the ones who may not have had the best circumstances in the military too. So first of all, we'll take any veteran that walks in the door, and through that intake process, we'll determine some of the issues, and typically what they might come in for initially may end up 3 or 4 other different things, and they may touch areas like housing or benefits, employment, education, legal situation. So then what we do is start to refer them through to either the VA or community services.
So I'm familiar with one-stop concept, and I want to pull this out a little bit further. For those who are listening right now, if you're a veteran, you might say, well, I just need whatever, or I don't need any of those services. But here's the thing that I have found with one-stop organizations. Go in there, talk to the folks, because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly.
Precisely.
And you may think you're going in there to talk about employment, only to find out you got issues that you don't even realize you have, and someone's going to call you on it in a way that you guys can relate, right? Am I right?
Absolutely.
And with the one-stop, I'm also going to guess this, and I don't know this, Chuck, but do you have a computer program that when you start filling out information, it's like sending their information to like different departments, or creates a profile that you all look at later and say, wow, this guy needs this, or this woman needs that, or those kinds of things?
Well, typically what it is, it becomes a conversation.
Right.
And again, we'll work with doing our case notes and things of that nature, and then typically, after that meeting, you begin to determine what your next steps may be with the veteran, and this also will involve the family too. It isn't just one-on-one, so it could be family members and things of that nature. So many times, they can move to the next step, or it might be a little discussion with caseworkers in terms of where the next best step.
Okay, we have a caller, but I'm going to hold that caller just for a second because I have a question for Alyssa. So Alyssa, why would not somebody come in? I mean, my experience with military guys, they're pretty rock-headed, women and men,
Yes.
and they're tough, and they don't need help. Is that what you see?
Yes, I think that, and then a lot of that is just the pride, and you feel like because in the military you're forced to find your answers. You're going to have a leader that's going to eventually, walk you through that path. But a big part of growing as a soldier is learning how to find those resources. So if you get out and you're kind of drowning, you don't really know to ask and know where the resources are, and then also you feel like you should just be better at this.
Okay. All right. We have a phone call. Ready? Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Well, good morning, Doc. Good morning, Alyssa. Good morning, Chuck. It's great to see you on the show, and I have the utmost respect and appreciation for all veterans because their sacrifice is so tremendous.
Thank you.
There's just no greater sacrifice. And I have the Senior Employment Program through the Office for the Aging, and our first priority to serve are the veterans.
Okay.
And I'm very happy that we are required to do that.
Linda, what percentage of people that come through your program are veterans? Do you have any idea?
I don't have that many veterans.
Okay, so you need more then.
I'd say, well, no, they just don't come. I mean,
that's what we're talking about. Why not? Where are they?
I have veteran spouses, though.
Oh, that's okay.
Spouses of veterans, of deceased veterans, and that is definitely, and the spouse of a veteran is also a first priority too. Veterans and their spouses. So I'd say maybe a tenth.
Well,
maybe a little bit under.
That's still okay. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of programs do you offer them?
The same kind of program, the senior employment,
Okay.
the employment and training. We put them on our subsidized site that's funded through the Department of Labor through Senior Services America, and then we administer it, and then they go to places like CARTS. They could be a bus aid, or they could be at our office, Chautauqua County Office for the Aging, as a clerical support, or office aid. They can be working at Meals on Wheels. They can be a driver delivery person, or they can help in the preparation of the food for Meals and Wheels. We have people in all of those sites.
Super. Okay, anything else going on?
Well, it's a beautiful day out there.
Oh, it was when I came in. You never know when you go back out.
And there are people getting jobs off of our program. The purpose of it is to get people into the workforce initially, to increase their skills and training so that they can get off the program and get a better job.
And the contact information's right here.
Yes, it is.
Go for it.
And see us on Facebook.
All right, and the number is?
The number is, and the Office for Aging in Mayville, 753-4471.
I can't do that. I'm trying to go along with my finger, and everything's reversed for me, and I have no trouble with that sort of thing. Lynn, have a great weekend. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks for working with our veterans.
Thank you. Can I just add a little bit?
Yeah, this is your show.
Here's a perfect opportunity to highlight exactly that kind of work where we will bring in community resources to help us. And again, going back to that one-stop concept, at our main office in Buffalo, we'll have organizations like Goodwill for Employment Services, Consumer Credit Services helping on the financial side. We'll have members of the VA, for different services. We'll have members of the state organizations helping us. So again, it takes a village, I guess.
Absolutely. So we have some charts here, I think, that maybe we want to talk a little bit about that you sent me. Some slides. Jeff, can you pop up one of those graphics with the data on there? Oh, all right. Why don't you talk about this?
Okay. Well, just a couple. I'm just looking at the one middle picture. You've got Senator Ort, one of our board members, and one of our veterans. And it was actually a Dwyer program, and I hope we have a little opportunity for Alyssa to talk about the Dwyer program. But that was one of the events we had there. The next slide over, and if I could just tell a real short story. This was Gene Simmons from KISS.
KISS.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, you'll laugh.
You're with Gene Simmons?
Yes. And
he's no 10,000 Maniacs. I got the 10,000 Maniacs.
Yeah.
So that's all right.
He did a great fundraiser for us. And two things I just wanted to point out. One is how oblivious I was to Gene Simmons when he was first told he was coming. It just didn't connect. But he's got a wonderful story, and he really is very close for veterans. And the reason he was, his mom and his uncle were the last family members in one of the concentration camps during the first. Yeah, and they immigrated to Israel after the war. He was actually born there, and they moved to New York City.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so that's why veterans are very close to his heart. A great guy.
Good stories.
Yeah.
So you met Gene Simmons. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you like buds? You go back and forth?
I don't know. We're not that close.
No.
But he was
autograph.
he was a great guy during that. We had over 200 people come, and he took time to photograph each one of them and chat with them. So good guy, good man.
Okay, let's do the next slide. I want to get this information. So this is important here.
Sure. So when you look at the work since inception, now this was at the end of 2018. We're over 11,000 veterans that we've helped in the Western New York community.
That's in 6 years?
In the 6 years,
Woo.
Yes, yeah. So
that's a lot of people.
we have an outreach staff that is out trying to make sure we're reaching out to every veteran that we can.
How big is your staff?
We have 14 total. Yeah,
that's a pretty big group.
Yeah, and you look at the number of combat veterans engaged, 2,500. Interestingly, when you look at this, we've got 1,100 female veterans engaged, and obviously everyone is aware since post 9/11 that the female veteran population is expanding exponentially, and it's one of the populations that we try and work with hard. And Alyssa has a group that she's been, she can talk about in just a second.
We will.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Okay, great. But when you look at all this, Doc, there is, it's not only the great work we do helping veterans, but there's a real community service that's done here. When you take a look at the work we've done in housing, benefits, employment, and education, there's a real economic benefit to the Western New York area, and it's pegged at about $33 million. So.
All right. Now, before we go any further, because we're going to get to Alyssa here in a second, how do people get a hold of you?
So certainly they can contact us at 898-0110. That's our main phone number. They can reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter, and I don't know if I've got those contacts, but we can certainly make sure we get
Oh, you're on
those to you.
Facebook, I'm sure.
Okay.
Veterans One Stop Center of Western New York, right? So that's 898-0110. All right, because I always write things backwards here. All right, Alyssa, the Dwyer program. Tell us about your job.
So the Dwyer program, it's a program that New York State implemented in 2012. It's now in 23 counties. I manage it for Erie and Niagara. Chautauqua County has their own representative here, Cindy Reedy. She's a phenomenal woman.
Yeah, she's been on the show.
And so essentially our program, our mission is to essentially not only help pull veterans out of that isolation, but to get them networking with other veterans. Not only so they can kind of feel that camaraderie again and kind of open up, but then, with the work of the Veterans One Stop, the beauty of our program is that we can also fold them into those resources. So say if I'm engaging in a veteran, I get them to come along and go for a hike on a Saturday afternoon, and then just in that conversation that I'm having with them, then I can identify, maybe they might benefit from meeting with a benefits counselor, or say if they have children and they want to engage with other veteran families, we have our Operation Children of the Military.
So you're like a one-stop on foot.
Essentially, yes.
Right? I mean, and that's how we are here. We're like a one-stop for the county for all kinds of things. So let's keep going. So who was Dwyer?
So PFC Joseph P. Dwyer, the program that or the gentleman that the program was named after, he was a New York native, a soldier that joined the Army shortly after 9/11, volunteered to serve our country, deployed to Iraq, served honorably, and then he, redeployed, came back home, and then from there he kind of went on and started, I say that he went on to fight a second battle when he came home. He was struggling immensely with post-traumatic stress. He then started to isolate. And then he was also, he did resort to substance abuse to kind of deal with those. He was using a tool that a lot of veterans use. Then unfortunately in June of 2008, he lost his struggles with those battles. Yeah. So.
How is it that this became his program? He's not the only one who's ever done this, so how's that happen?
Yeah, it's just, his story got enough attention here in New York, and it reached enough people on an emotional level that from there they decided something needs to be done. We need to do our best to try to service our veterans and to let them know that not only are they not alone and they have other veterans in the community that can wrap their arms around them, but that the community itself, I say this all the time, I got so much grief from all my friends when I said I was moving to New York, because they said, it's a liberal state, they don't serve their veterans, but that's not true. This is probably the most veteran-friendly place I've been.
Everybody's told me that. Yeah. That's involved with any agencies, with veterans in this county, in this state, and they said the same thing. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah. If you could say one thing to a veteran right now, whether they're listening on the radio, on YouTube, or right now live, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that just try to understand that you are absolutely not alone, and that there are plenty of resources out there for you, and that it's not like a badge of honor to keep yourself isolated from the civilian population. I think a lot of times there's kind of this culture where we create an us versus them, and I'm so misunderstood. Well, no, there's a lot of, we don't corner the market on PTSD. There's a lot of civilians that struggle with it. And I think that if I can leave one thing with any veteran, it's just focus on the commonality that you have with your brothers and sisters around you, whether or not they don the uniform. Just that community that you had in the military, it can very much exist here in, veteran life or civilian life,
Chuck, one of the things that's bothered me lately more than anything else is opioid addiction. Is that hitting the veterans hard?
Certainly, it is an issue, and again, we will staff folks, from the VA center many times to help with some of those issues. And when we look at that transition, that emotional health, that general well-being are real important areas. And I don't have any stats with me in terms of what might be employed. And Alyssa, I don't know if you can add anything to that in terms of, but it is an issue. It is an issue as a general population, and it is an issue with the veteran population.
Of all the services you offer, what's the one that would be the best kept secret, Chuck, that people should know about, but they don't do anything with it or try for it or anything like that?
Probably benefits. And it's one of the issues that veterans will come to us often, again, because it's such a huge system to try and navigate. Many times they're just not aware of what may be available to them. We've had our accredited benefits counselors have Korean and, in a couple of cases, World War II veterans come to us that were not aware they had benefits coming to them.
My dad was a World War vet, and you saw him early on. He's passed now. But I would say to him, Dad, have you ever been to the VA? No. Well, why not? I got GM insurance. And people don't realize that the VA is not insurance. It's a service. And that has nothing to do with your insurance. And your insurance isn't depleted or changed or anything like that. It's an add-on, if anything, right? And I never could understand why he would never go.
And if I could add one thing to
please
that
do.
is, I know there was this stigma, surrounding the VA facilities in general. I will say they have made incredible strides and progress, and I would, if for no other reason, to get funding for veterans, I would encourage every veteran to sign up through the VA, whether or not you utilize the services, because the funding is based on those numbers.
I've heard that, and I think, help me if I'm wrong on this, all you got to do is register and get an annual physical
Correct.
to stay active, right? So what could that take? A couple hours?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I've also encountered veterans, similar to what he was talking about, that they just don't know that it's really out there. For example, I met he was a Vietnam era veteran, and thankfully his wife was there to kind of vet and tell me the true story, because he would never have. But he was struggling mentally, and it turned out to be symptoms of Agent Orange exposure. And his belief, really at his core, he said, I'm not missing any limbs, and it's, somebody else can benefit from it, so I'm taking
I've heard
those.
that. I've heard that. It's like, I'm okay, give it to somebody else. And that's not okay that you think that, because you should be getting your fair share as well. Because as they said, when you put your hand up and you gave your oath, those are benefits that have been guaranteed to you.
Absolutely.
Let me go to a different area. And this is the one that I've been stressing a lot lately. The veteran comes, he lives, she lives, they do their service, they come back into the society, they have a fruitful life, they get married, they have kids, and they die. What happens to the spouse? The spouses don't know that they're eligible for services. True or false?
There are certain services, benefits that are available.
And can they come to
veterans.
the Dwyer program if they're struggling themselves?
They're absolutely welcome at the Dwyer program, and then the Veterans One Stop. We're more than open to meeting with spouses, widows, widowers, and just kind of talking them through any potential benefits or assistance that they can receive. But absolutely, any family member of a veteran is welcome at our Dwyer program.
Because I think that people think that when the veteran passes away, that it's done. It's not done. And those people are eligible for benefits. And a lot of times they don't even realize that they're pretty extensive. Okay.
That's right.
So where are you located, and do people have to go to you, or do you go to them? How does that work?
So we have offices currently in Buffalo, Main Street in Buffalo, up in Lockport, New York, and then in Niagara Falls, New York. However, no, you can contact us by phone. Sometimes some of the work can be done by telephone, and in some cases, they can come up and visit with us. Or we might even recommend, for instance, in Chautauqua County, maybe visit the VSO office. Maybe they can help them. So again, we're trying to work collaboratively with as many partners as possible.
Right. And this is how Chautauqua County works. People where I live tend to go towards Erie, Pennsylvania. Okay. People from the middle of the county tend to go to Buffalo. Okay, so I'm suspecting you probably get people from Silver Creek and Irving and maybe Fredonia, Dunkirk area. Maybe drift your way a little bit more. So, but there is no wall there. There's no bridge you have to cross. You just go to there or make these calls, because there's no boundaries here.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah. Again, we're a nonprofit organization, so the funding we're seeking will help anyone who is seeking it. We've interestingly had some folks call from around the country, and they might have roots here in this area and heard about us and reach out to us. So you're absolutely right.
So how are you funded?
Again, when you look at our revenue base, 40% is probably service and government funding. The other 60% is the generosity of the community. So we're out seeking, corporate partnerships in terms of support. And it's not just financial support either, Doc. We're looking for volunteers to help us, whether it's with events, some of the work that Alyssa's doing, things of that nature. So it could be monetary or volunteer help.
Okay, super, in-kind stuff. Alyssa, what do you have on deck right now for the Dwyer program, your groups and things? What do you got any projects or events planned?
So we have, like our weekly yoga sessions and weekly run group, but then we also have like an aquatic adventure coming up where they'll get to paddleboard. We got a hiking event coming up.
Wait, I gotta tell you a story. You just said paddleboard?
Yeah.
Do you know how to paddleboard?
I do not. I'm new to this.
Okay, this is breaking news. Justin, Emerald, you're gonna love this story. All right, this is gonna take a second. I'm part of the board of directors at the Westwood Memorial Hospital, and the foundation had a big golf tournament yesterday. So I was selling raffle tickets, so I put in a bunch of raffle tickets. I won a paddleboard yesterday.
That's awesome.
Pictures to follow. I don't even know. I actually went on YouTube yesterday to see how you even get on a board and stand on it. There's a technique. So when you said paddleboard, you go, my kids are excited. I don't know if I am, but we'll see. So where do you do all this?
We try to find a different place. We try to position our events throughout different areas so that we can accommodate any veteran at one point or another. And then we also like to have a variety of events just so that, like I said, we can engage with everybody. And we also have we just had our big fishing day. We have that once a year, usually in June or July. And then we've got our annual dinner coming up November 9th. It's going to be it's going to be every year we do a theme. Last year it was, celebrating military families and post 9/11 veterans. This one we are celebrating community. So every veterans of all eras, combat experience or not, peacetime, wartime, doesn't matter. They are absolutely welcome. And then I know that Cindy Reedy had mentioned she does like a big gala every year. So I know she's got a lot of good things going on.
So do you guys help each other or see each other, or do you do anything together?
Right now we pretty much just at the Dwyer gatherings we'll meet, but then we just let our veterans know about the opportunities in either county. So just kind of, like I said, everybody that we work with and that we encounter, including yourself, it's all about the betterment of the veteran community and our communities in general. So if we can pass along some information to help them out, hey, there you go.
You have my information, right? You got my card. If you guys have things coming up, make sure you send it along to us, and we'll announce it here. There are some cards in here somewhere. There you go. And we'll be happy to share that.
Thank you.
Okay. And so we're down to about a minute and a half, folks. So what else do you want to talk about, Chuck, with your programmer?
Actually, I was hoping we'd talk a little bit about the women's program that Alyssa's standing up.
Go for it.
I think it's a wonderful program.
Standing Up, that's what it's called?
No.
Oh.
She's standing the program. she's
Either way.
What's the name of the program?
So there's the actual program itself is called Woven. It's the Women Veteran Network.
Oh, okay, that sounds better.
And you can Google, get all the information. It's an awesome program. There's actually some structure to it, and there's a series of 7 to 8 sessions where we'll go over different modules and everything. But then outside of that, in between those sessions that we conduct, we have just a women veteran group club. It's something that I really, even as a female veteran, I didn't know that there was really a need for that, and I'm seeing that there really is. So the first and the third Wednesday of every month at the Veterans One Stop, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. we just meet and hang out.
You said you're on Main Street. Where on Main Street?
Right on the corner of Main and Bryant, 1280 Main Street.
1280 Main. All right, we're down about 30 seconds. Chuck, I'll give you a few seconds, and Alyssa will give you the last word.
Great. Well, again, we're very proud of the work that we do, have the ability to be able to help veterans in any scenario, any type of situation. So, again, and we're proud to be able to collaborate with the community.
Okay. Alyssa, last 10 seconds. Talk to your veteran buddies.
Go out there and get those swords. I think that's what we talked about. I need to use a drill sergeant hand. So thank you so much. There's so much support.
Okay. And so, folks, you've been listening to Chuck Marra, who's the president and CEO of the Veterans One Stop Center of Western New York, and Alyssa Vasquez, who's in charge of the PFC Joseph Dwyer program. I tell you guys all the time, if you don't check these programs out, shame on you. I can only talk about it and bring people in about it. So veterans, family members, make those connections. You have all the information. Play this video over and over and over again till you get it right. Folks, folks, thanks for coming down and spending time with us. Keep in touch, and we can do this again sometime.
Thanks so much.
Have a nice weekend, everybody. Enjoy the warm weather. Winter is probably 3 days away. Take care now. You never know lately. Gosh, we were